Hello everyone, this is the beginning of a video series on how to convert a car to Need for Speed High Stakes. In this case, we're going to convert a car from Need for Speed Carbon and Mitsubishi Coupe GT to show you the ropes on converting. For this first video, we're going to make the texture for the car, and we're going to use GIMP 2.8 for that. Why 2.8? Because the most recent release has been really overhauled and many stuff works differently from 2.8. Well, any further ado, let's begin. First, enable single window mode as shown here if you haven't already. And make the toolbox bigger like this so the tool options dialog is shown properly. Now proceed to open the textures of the car you're converting. In my case, I extract them from the textures.bin file of the footage folder, and I'll convert it to BMP with DXT BMP prior to this video. All but the badging textures were converted to BMP. Badging was converted to TDA since its transparency is needed. Select all these files with shift clicking the last and first files and hit open. Next, make a new image by going File, New. Set a 256 by 256 resolution and click OK. Right click on the layer and then click on Add Alpha Channel. Choose a contrasting color like this blue and click OK. Select the bucket tool and paint the background. Now switch to the interior texture you opened. Copy it. Then switch back to the new image and paste the texture. Next, select the scale tool, set it up as shown. Click on the image. Click on it again and lock the aspect ratio, the shim button. Set the new size, in this case 128 by 128, and click Scale. Now select the Move tool and move the texture until it fits the upper left corner like I'm doing. You can zoom in and out with Ctrl mouse wheel to gain precision. Click on the New Layer button to turn your pencil selection into a new layer. Then right-click the new layer you made and select Layer to Image Size. You can also rename it by selecting and pressing F2. In this case, I'm gonna name it Solid. Now switch to the brake light texture. Some textures such as Need for Speed Carbon 2 undercover lights and Forza textures are quite dark and need to be lightened up. To do so, use the Color Curves command and adjust as needed. This one looks alright, so we'll leave it alone for now. Switch to the Mist texture, copy it, go back to the new image, paste the texture, resize it to 128 pixel width, Move it besides the interior texture. The select tools can also do move tool duties when you have a floating selection. try to fit it as neatly as I'm doing here. And when you're done, just click outside the selection and you're using the select tools to move it. Or click the anchor button in the layer dialog. Repeat all this step for the rest of the textures. After a few minutes of copying, pasting, resizing, and moving, you should get something like this. Stick to power to sizes, that will make mapping a lot easier later. You will notice there are some new textures I open and added, since the card itself does not have them. These textures can be downloaded from the description. Anyway, there are a couple of things that should be addressed before moving on to the remaining textures. One of them are these gaps caused for transparency. To remove them, we will use the layer threshold alpha command. As you can see, they are now gone. The other thing is that textures look a bit blurry after resizing. Sharpen them up with filters, enhance, sharpen command. Set about 35 and hit OK. All I'm doing is here to show you this. Now on to the next textures, badging, brake discs, and driver. Switch to badging texture and resize it with image, resize image. A 64 by 64 size will be good for this one. Make sure to set interpolation to sync for better results. Sharpen the texture like you did last time. Now it's time to the alpha channel. To do so, right click the layer and go to Add Layer Mask. Select Transfer Alpha to Layer Mask and click OK. You will see there is a new thumbnail with a white outline appears beside this layer thumbnail. That one is the alpha mask. The white outline around it means you are dealing with the alpha mask of the layer. To go back, just click on the layer's thumbnail. Or right click the layer and check Edit Layer Mask. To have a better view for the alpha mask, right click the layer and show Layer Mask. With that, you will only see the mask. Now pick the rectangle select tool and select this part the door handle provides. Use shift click to select more than one area. Next, you have to copy that selection from the mask and paste it in the image. Invert the colors with colors invert and make it darker with the curves tool as shown. Turn it into a new layer. Change the layer mode to half light and adjust the transparency if necessary. Then go back to the lower layer, right click on it and check Disable Layer Mask. That will help you to adjust the transparency of the new layer. When you're done, re-enable the layer mask. Hide the new layer and go back to the lower layer's alpha mask. Select the door handle toolbox again. Invert the selection with select invert. And go to Colors Posterize. Set it to 2 and hit OK. Invert the selection again. Run Posterize once more. Set it to 4 and hit OK. Now pick the Select by Color tool and select the gray parts with shift click. Then pick the bucket tool. Choose the following color since that's the output value for the main body color. And shift click to paint the entire selection. You will see there are some gaps in that section. You have to close them. To do so, pick the pencil tool, set it to size to 1 and close the gaps. Then just pick the bucket again and paint the remaining black part of the crevice. You're almost done with this texture. You just need to put everything in one layer. First, cut the alpha mask with Edit Cut. Now right click on any layer and go to Flatten Image. Then right click on the layer again and choose Transfer Alpha to Mask. Hit OK. Paste the mask you cut before and click outside the selection to anchor. To finish it, just click in the right layer and click and select Apply Layer Mask. Copy the texture, switch back to the new image, paste it, move it to the desired location, in the lower right corner. I recommend to leave at least 1 pixel distance from the edges to avoid black artifacts after mapping. Turn the selection to a new layer, right click on the layer and select Layer to Image Size. Rename the layer if you want, I will call it Transparent. Go to the background layer and select the rectangle select tool to select the area of the badging texture. Try to make it bigger than the texture by 1 or 2 pixels to avoid artifacts later, then just delete it. Nice, now onto the brick disc texture. This texture has uneven lighting, so it will be better if it's fixed. First, ensure you have the default colors by clicking where I'm clicking and pick the blend tool. Make sure you set to foreground to background RGB, then create a new layer. Click and drag the mouse from the top right to the bottom left corner. Next, set the layer mode to overlay. Then right click the layer and select Merge Visible Layers. Resize the texture to 32 by 32 pixels. Apply Threshold Alpha to it. Copy and paste it into a new image. This brown layer can undo and paste it if I want. Move the texture near the batching and anchor it to a layer. Go to the background layer, select the area of the break this texture with 1 to 2 pixels to spare, and delete it. Now onto the driver's texture. Copy it. paste it and resize it to 64 by 64 pixels. Move it to the desired position. Anchor it. Select it. Sharpen it. Apply threshold outline. Part of the face texture has to be retouched, and seeing it will look like all driver face is cutting off after mapping. So select the following sections, copy and paste them like I'm doing here. Now it's time to set the alpha channel for the driver's hair. Pick the Select by Color tool and shift-click to select the pixels corresponding to the driver's hair. Next, transfer the alpha of the layer to a mask. A step I forgot to do here is that after selecting the driver's hair, you can select one of the select sharpen commands to eliminate soft edge and aspects of the selection, just by the little program I'm about to run into. Switch to the layer mask. Choose the following color, RGB32. Pick the bucket tool and shift-click in the selection to fill it. This is the program I talked about before. Now I gotta fill it too. Deselect the hair, then select the corresponding area again. Switch to the background layer and delete the selection. Don't forget to right click on the transparent layer and click on Apply Layer Mask to be done with this step. You're reaching the final steps of this part. Now you're going to set up the alpha channel for the car colors. Switch to the solid layer and pick the free select tool. Start selecting the red part on the interior texture. You can add to an existing selection by shift-clicking to start a new selection, and to remove from a selection, you can Ctrl-click to start a selection to subtract from the existing one. If you want to remove another selection tool, press backspace. Once you're done selecting, sharpen the selection. Then go to Colors, Desaturate, set it to lightness, and click OK. Next, transfer the layer's alpha channel to a mask. choose the following color RGB 160. Pick the bucket tool and shift quick to fill the selection. Apply the layer mask onto the layer. Switch to background layer and delete the selection. Next things to do are the tire sidewall, body, door line, and a couple black textures. For the sidewall, first make a 5x4 pixel selection just below the thread. Then choose the color picker tool, click and control click where I did to get the foreground and background color respectively. Now pick the blend tool, set it to bilinear, and apply it as I do. Deselect, switch to the transfer layer, and make a new 4x4 selection beside the sidewall texture. Choose the following color, RGB 192, and use the bucket tool. Set opacity to 90 and fill the selection. Deselect, make a 2x4 selection, choose a RGB 230 color and fill it. Then select another 2x4 and fill with the RGB 75 color. Now do another 4x4 selection, put the opacity back to 100 and fill with the RGB 20 color. And finally make a 4x4 and fill it with black. Next, make a 64x32 pixel selection below and paint it with RGB 192 and opacity 90. Then make another selection in the middle, like this, and delete it. Now paint it with the RGB 230 with 38 opacity. Deselect, then select the body color parts, switch to the background layer and delete. You're almost done with the texture. Now save it with the name car00.xcf. And finally, paint the background layer black with the bucket tool. Don't forget to set opacity back to 100. And export it. as car00.ta, or check the RLV compression box and hit export. And that's it for the video. Now you have a texture file for your Need for Speed High Stakes car. In the next video we're going to tackle the conversion of the mesh itself. For the first import